Hello, I'm Dan Naylor, an online PhD student in history at Liberty University, HIUS 713, and it's July 2026. This is the video defense of my paper entitled Boeing in Historical Perspective, Patterns of Risk, Intervention, and Crisis, or better yet, the ups and downs of Boeing. Here's the research question being addressed. What distinctive patterns of innovative behavior emerged within Boeing as it responded to organizational and technological challenges? The significance of the research question. Boeing is today the aerospace company in the United States, and that happened probably by about 1960, and everyone in my audience has flown on a Boeing. Boeing products were instrumental in winning, not just holding the enemy back, but winning the Second World War by going on the offensive with strategic bombing and the atomic bomb. Key primary sources used and principal research methodology. My research method was a triangulated source critical methodology. I used authoritative government archives, Boeing corporate publications, and secondary scholarly industry writers with cross-verification of the sources. I really enjoyed using Boeing Company's chronology to keep things in order. I used photographs, official records from the US Senate and FDR himself during the Depression, a wide variety of tactical mission reports in covering World War II in the Smithsonian and other museums. There was a dichotomy in the secondary sources. Some writers insisted that the government saved Boeing, while writers stressed Boeing's sterling innovation and fierce competition. And this speaks in the course readings to the tension between capitalism and centralized political power that Mitchell and Schluter talk about on page 179. So when governments provide military contracts for private industry, is this the government saving entire companies? Now the good part, the summation of the research findings. I've got 3 innovative episodes for you. If you're looking for a tidy encapsulation of Boeing, I will disappoint you. Boeing history is terribly untidy. It's really bizarre in many respects, and it continues to be so. First innovative episode, Boeing was building aircraft in World War I. World War I ended, and all the contracts dried up. So Boeing, the airplane company, began making furniture and boats, and gradually managed to get back into aviation and used their expertise. They did some vertical integration, and things were going really well until our second innovative episode. What happened is, of course, the Depression hit. And what happened, this was a really, really good industry. It was as good as healthcare, food processing, and the movie industry. This was an inelastic industry. And the federal government decided to go after Boeing, accusing them of taking airmail funds, and they were trying to do the trust busting Teddy Roosevelt and Taft era again. And when do you see the government ever acting swiftly? Well, they acted swiftly. Look at the primary records from the Senate. They came down on Boeing, canceled all the contracts, put military air crew, and combat aircraft in, at which point the crews began crashing, 66 crashes, 13 deaths, and finally saw the light, turned things around, and of course took the opportunity, this being the Roosevelt era, took the opportunity to expand the size of government and set up the FAC, otherwise known as the Federal Aviation Commission. However, in 1941, the courts absolved Boeing of any blame. So this was not a scandal, this was a shenanigan by the Roosevelt administration. And I'm inspired, as per Dr. Schweikart's video, What Can Be Done with a History Degree, I'd like to write a popular account entitled How the Roosevelt Administration Extended the Depression. The third example is, just very briefly, Boeing built bombers. So at the end of the Second World War, there was no real need for more bombers, but the Douglas Corporation had got in and built transport aircraft. So over something like 15 years, until it had the 707, Boeing was a little bit out in the cold until they went head to head with Douglas and beat them. Hope you enjoyed my video defense. I think I've done an adequate job of presenting that Boeing was a tremendous innovator. Second World Wars by Victor Davis Hanson are great. I wanted to point out in closing that all these aircraft here, none of these is a Boeing aircraft, but all of these aircraft companies were absorbed by Boeing or simply went out of business. Thanks for listening.